look, I've forgotten what your name is.
That's
There's nothing else I want to do now. All I want to do is I want to leave Karbon Homes and I want to leave that house. This is just the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to go and see if I can get somewhere closer to where my brother lives. Maybe it'll cost us an extra £100 a month in rental, but at least I don't care. I'm not putting up with this. After what we've been through recently, I'm sorry. As I say, if you're going to send us any more letters out, fine. I'll look into getting the bushes trimmed. I'll try and get up there. Hopefully I don't have a hernia and a heart attack doing it. But in the meantime, can you send me, if you're not going to send me a letter...
If you give me an indication when this is going to be done, I'll stop those letters from coming out. This is what I'm trying to say. This is about
I don't know.
cooperation.
I'm kind of dealing with, like, you know, an upset disabled mother at the moment. Still trying to deal with my dad's death because it was sudden after 2 months of just finding out he had cancer, dying. And having a stroke myself. I really don't know. Maybe I shall ring you back on that. I'm so upset at the moment. Okay. I've got to put the phone down because I'm about to give myself a heart attack and another stroke right now. Okay?
Would you like me to phone you next week?
You can phone me next week if you like, but right now I've got to end this phone call before I actually have to go to hospital. All right?
I'll give you a ring next week.
Well, hello again, and I'm back with more of the bull that is happening in my life at the moment. And the latest bit of bull is this letter of the housing association I'm with. I'm just trying to cover up my address there. I'll do a scan and put it in for you all to look at with certain parts of the address figured out. But yeah, apparently someone has said that our bushes are a little overgrown and moaned on to the housing association, and someone from the housing and suggested to the housing association that we've not been living here when I've been stuck in this house for the last 6 months with a father who suddenly got cancer and died within 2 months of getting it, and a disabled mother that I'm looking after. And we've had a chance to go to a caravan in the countryside for a few days a week after all of this stress and agony happening in our lives, and someone suggested that we're not actually living here anymore as well. So basically I called up Karbon Homes and kicked off. And whilst I was kicking off, the guy said that they've had some mention from someone in the area that our bushes are overgrown. Well, I tell you what, I've just went up and down the street and filmed all the other bushes in this street, and our bushes are nowhere near the worst in the frickin' street. There's a house on the end that's got a veritable forest out the back of it. And they go and complain about us because I didn't cut the grass in 2 weeks and it was about this long, because I've been away in the countryside with me nearly 80-year-old mother who's just lost her husband to cancer within 2 months of getting it, who's disabled, and we're all a bit stressed. We're trying to relax, and my grass was this long and the hedges are a bit ruffled, and someone went and moaned on the council. So I basically kicked off, and I used my ACR phone recorder to record the entire conversation. So basically I think the rest of this video is just going to be me kicking off with the guy who wrote the letter saying they're going to end our tenancy on the 30th because of some overgrown hedges, and we weren't in when they knocked on the door. So, you know, they've actually got my phone number as well, I found out, so they haven't even freaking called me to actually ask if I'm in the house. And they've sent one person round once to knock on the door who saw an overgrown hedge. Yeah, there's a great big hedge out the front of the house, but that's covering up the graffiti on the front of this house that Karbon Homes promised to remove from this house when we moved into it in 2011. So, as you can imagine, I am rather peed off about all this. And what better way to vent my spleen and let the world know about the bull that's going on in my life at the moment than to put a video out there and get hundreds and hundreds of people to watch it and see how that gets a good reaction from everyone around here. Because, you know, I'm just fed up of people trying to ruin my life at the moment. I've had a mini stroke, I've just lost my father, I've got a disabled mother, I can't work at the moment because I can't pass me taxi medical, and people go and complain to the frickin' housing association about some slightly overgrown bushes out the front. And then they tell them that no one's living here because we've been out of the house for a few days a week for the last couple of weeks. It is just mind frickin' boggles me about the human race in this area. Where are they frickin' from? Pluto? They are not even worth the time to try and get the know, because I tell you what, they've not even knocked on the door and said your hedges are a bit overgrown. They went and called the bloody housing association. How sick is that? I tell you what, as soon as I get some money, I'm going to put in a multiple complaints about everything that's wrong around here in everyone else's house, and I'm going to go. And let them all get their tenancy letters through saying we're going to chuck you out at the end of the month. What a load of bollocks, I can tell you. Anyway, here's me kicking off with a guy at Karbon Homes on the phone.
Speaking, yeah.
Hi, my name's Warwick. I'm calling from Karbon Homes.
Hiya there, Warwick. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you. How are you?
Oh, fine. I mean, we're just upset about that letter that we got, that's all.
Yeah, I mean, if you let me explain, it is a letter that we send if we've received any reports that our tenants aren't living in their property.
Yeah. But that's what we found quite upsetting about it, because we've been stuck in that house with my dad's cancer, my mother's disability, and my stroke for months, and we'll go away. Someone lets us use a caravan for a bit, so we'll go to take a few days away for a few weeks, like 4 days last week and 3 days this week, and that sort of thing. And then we'll get a letter like that through all of a sudden. So what I can't see what the foundation of them saying that no one's in the tenancy. What foundation have got to say that?
Well, the reason I've sent that letter out is to sort of hopefully you will respond to that letter, and we can discuss what's happening with yourself. Perhaps we can help you if you need any assistance. Unfortunately, because we've received that report, we are obliged to act. And I know it's upsetting, I suppose, particularly if you're still living in the property, but you've got to bear in mind we've got thousands of properties, and if someone is complaining then or reporting, then we have a duty to act. And
so someone has actually reported to you that there's been no one living in the property for a considerable period of time.
There's been a report to me, yes, indirectly, I must admit, but yes, there has been a report, and that's why we sent the letter that we sent.
And would this have been like from someone living in the area?
I can't say, unfortunately. I can't disclose where that report's come from.
It's terrible. It's the most terrible. After losing my father, who was living with me, and looking after my disabled mother now, and taking on all the responsibility of that, for someone to actually come up and say something like that after such an upsetting period in all our lives, what foundation, what right have people got to do this sort of thing to people? I think it's disgusting. Me, absolutely disgusting. I thought I'd seen the height of the disgusting things over the last 3 months, putting up with everything we've been through, and for someone to go ahead and say that we're not living in a property when I've been there multiple times a week. I've been there for the last 6 months, constantly not able to get out that house because of all the health issues. We'll go away for a few days, and someone says that. It is absolutely disgusting. It is the worst thing I have ever heard. And then you're telling me you're not going to tell me who said this. These people need reprimanded for saying such things about us. They've not even had to come and courtesy to come and knock on our door and inquire. They've went and complained to you that we're not living in a house. There's absolutely no evidence that we've not been living in that house. What foundation have they got? I'm sorry, but I'm just really upset about this.
I understand that.
I've got a YouTube channel with tens of thousands of views a week on it. I feel like going and making a video now, complaining to the whole world about this. It is an absolute disgrace. I am so upset about this. I've lost my father. I've lost my job. I've had a stroke recently, and I'm having to do all this pressure on my life. And someone says something like this about me. It is absolutely terrible. I cannot believe you people. I want a letter of apology off you as soon as possible. If I don't get this letter, I'm going to take this further. It is absolutely disgrace. Of course you can take this further. I'm not going to so upset because that is procedure. But I don't care about procedure. People should not be able to say such lies about us. To just call you up and then you threaten to throw us out of our house. Can I speak? I know it's clearly upsetting you. I'm very upset. There's no right. I can understand that, but I can't stop. I wish I could sometimes, but I can't stop people complaining or reporting things. I can't. And I've got to act on those reports. And the report isn't true. So there's no problem, is there? No, I know the letter's upsetting, but there's no problem. You've done the right thing. You've contacted me. The matter will end here. There's no further problems.
I understand you've had a distressing few months, but there's no action going to be taken. There's no tenancy action going to be taken.
But you come and knock on the door once. You get if you get a phone call off someone, you knock on the door once and you send out a letter saying we're going to end your tenancy at the end of the month.
Well, we did.
I mean, you could have at least tried to ring us. I've found out earlier on that you had my phone number. Why didn't you even just try ringing us? Send out such a horrible, nasty letter like that, or for one person contacting you and saying that. Well,
I can understand you upsetting, but nothing's going to happen.
It is very upsetting. You need to look at your procedures, because that is the worst customer service experience I have ever had in my entire existence.
Well, we did send someone out. Someone would go out to the property and.
How often would they have went out?
Mr. Rutley, I know you're upset, but let me speak. Mr. Rutley, somebody did go out. I wasn't able to go out, but so my colleague went, the housing assistant. She noted that the property did look like it had been unlived in, and the reason for that was because of the overgrown trees and bushes outside the front of your property.
Right.
Would you like to comment on that? Is that the case?
That's just basically we've not trimmed the hedges because I've just lost my father in the last few months.
Yeah, that's fine, and that's fine. And this is what all we're doing is we're just discussing this. We're just having a chat.
It's an absolute disgrace. How he could, do such things to people after, just send out a letter, we're going to end your tenancy over just one phone call and one visit. Absolute disgrace.
Unfortunately, that is what we sometimes have to do. Unfortunately, but
yes, it is, man. I'm very upset.
Brought you out. We were having a conversation. There's going to, like I said, that
just because we keep to ourselves and we don't get into we don't chat with all the little stories that they make about each other, and we don't go up and down the street and drill and get in with all the chit chat. They have to go and do something like this to us.
Mr. Rutley, is there anything I can help you with?
Oh, I've told them the whole lot. I'm trying not doing one, but everything I've been through recently, and someone to do this to us, it is a disgrace.
No, but I'm saying, is there anything, as your housing officer, is there anything that I can do to help? What I'm concerned about is...
I want you, whoever it was you've contacted, I want you to tell them the full story. And I need a letter from you saying that I will not get hassled like this anymore after the year I've been through. For someone to do this, it is so disrespectful. I mean, if I'd missed rental payments, and if, just because I haven't trimmed the bushes and I didn't manage to cut the grass one week because I was away. I should ask you, Karbon Homes. I've been there since 2011. I've asked you to remove the actual paint stains off the front of the house numerous times. You've been out twice and you've not even bothered to actually try and get rid of the rest of the paint off the brick next to the front door that the previous tenants had done. So that's another complaint I'd like to put in there at this point in time.
Right. Would you like me to come out and have a look?
Yes, you can come out and have a look.
Or would you like to?
It's been there since we moved into the property in 2011, and you've tried to take it off twice. You've had two people out twice to try and get it off with a pressure washer, and then we've just given up because it just seemed like so much hassle to get you to come out and do something about it.
So where is the paint?
Right, the previous tenants in this property, the whole property needed replastering and everything because they smashed the place up inside. We've done considerable stuff to the property to bring it up to scratch after that. And when we moved in, we saw that you'd done some work with the replastering a lot of the walls and everything. But we noticed what we call, it looks like someone's took a bucket of gloss and threw it at the front of the house near the front door, underneath the window near the front door. And these have come out twice when we first moved into the property, like in the first year or two, because we kept badgering you to come and try and get it off. And you should try twice to get it off, and it still hasn't come off. And there's still this big white stain on the wall next to the front door.
What did they say when they couldn't get it off, Mr. Rutley? What did they say? Did they say they were coming back? Did they say they couldn't do it? Did they say give reasons?
I've called them. Basically, we're talking about 2012, 2013. I just got sick of trying to get you to come and sort it. But, you send out a letter like this and it just makes me remember things that I've had to put up with from Karbon Homes, and, you send a horrible letter like this over one phone call. It just brings all to a head again.
I can understand why you're upset. It's a standard letter to send out to get the tenant to come out into the open and say what's happening, and that's what you've done. There isn't going to be, there's no further issues with this.
Right. I want no further issues with this. I want a letter saying that obviously we will not have our tenancy ended on the 30th, like it was threatening in this letter. I mean, we will end your tenancy after one visit, not even a phone call. And I would like whoever contacted you about this to let them be reprimanded for tenants such porky pies. They've not even been around our house knocking our door once or twice to even talk to us. So what right have they got to say that?
It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. What I'll do is, with regard to the paint gloss, is I will send an inspector to come out and have a look at that for you, to see what they recommend, to see if we can remove that. The other thing I would like to discuss is I know that you've been through an upsetting time, but we do need to probably discuss the overgrown trees and the bushes.
I've just told them 6 times that would be. Well, they're not even bothered to come round and talk to us to ask if where's John gone. Have the bunch of.
No, like I said, someone's been round. Someone's been round, and you weren't in, so we've had a report. It did look
terrible.
My colleague went round, had a look at the overgrown trees and bushes.
You look at my dad's dead because if he'd had this letter, he'd be down there, he'd be taking it to the son, he'd be going to bloody court and asking. It's such a. I can't believe you would have sent that letter at a time like this. It's just absolute disgrace. But as I said, it's nothing. As you say, calm down or whatever. You can't go tell us who said this and whatever. All I want is a letter saying, basically, we're not going to throw you out on the 30th because your grass is slightly overgrown and someone said you've not been there for 1 week. That's all I would like off you. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else we need to say on this phone call because it's a disgrace.
Well, before we go, I need to know. You need to give me a time frame of when the bushes are going to be cut at the front.
So someone's complained about the bushes not being cut. Is that what's caused all this? Is it?
That is another issue. You have agreed with your tenancy to keep the property in good order. If you can just give me an indication of when that's going to be dealt with, I'll give you as much time as you need. What I don't want you to do is get any more letters regarding this matter.
Well, you send someone round, because I tell you this, I'm looking after my disabled mother now. I'm on carer's allowance. I've got a heart condition. We can't afford to get someone to do it for us. So if there's a complaint about the bushes, send someone round to do it and let them do it. Because at this point in time,
I'll tell you what after the last 6 months, I'm telling you what is going to happen then is that you will get further letters and then you'll be given an opportunity to rectify the situation. And then what will happen?
We'll get further letters because the bushes haven't been trimmed.
Yeah, I'm afraid so. This is what I'm trying to explain. This is why I'm trying to discuss it with you. This is what will happen if you don't discuss it with me. Is you will get further letters. The letter will come out and say we're going to do it for you, and you will be recharged.
And you're going to be all right. Look, I've forgotten what your name is. There's nothing else I want to do now. All I want to do is I want to leave Karbon Homes and I want to leave that house. This is just the worst thing I've ever heard in my life. I'm going to go and see if I can get somewhere closer to where my brother lives. Maybe it'll cost us an extra £100 a month in rental, but at least I don't care. I'm not putting up with this. After what we've been through recently, I'm sorry. As I say, if you're going to send us any more letters out, fine. I'll look into getting the bushes trimmed. I'll try and get up there. Hopefully I don't have a hernia and a heart attack doing it. But in the meantime, can you send me, if you're not going to send me a letter...
If you give me an indication when this is going to be done, I'll stop those letters from coming out. This is what I'm trying to say. This is about
I don't know.
cooperation.
I'm kind of dealing with, an upset disabled mother at the moment. Still trying to deal with my dad's death because it was sudden after 2 months of just finding out he had cancer, dying. And having a stroke myself, I really don't know. Maybe I shall ring you back on that. I'm so upset at the moment. Okay. I've got to put the phone down because I'm about to give myself a heart attack and a stroke right now. Okay.
Would you like me to phone you next week?
You can phone me next week if you like, but right now I've got to end this phone call before I actually have to go to hospital. All right.
I'll give you a ring next week.